Picking a flight school in the UK is one of the biggest choices you'll make as a pilot. Get it wrong and you could waste thousands, lose momentum, or even give up on flying altogether. Most people will give you kind of 5 or 10 things to think about, but I've got what I think is the ultimate checklist. 45 tips to help you find the right flight school, whether you're learning to fly just for fun or aiming for the airlines. I've broken this video down into 4 main sections, and we'll start off with section 1, which is the school basics. So first thing to consider is, are you looking for a DTO or an ATO? It's important to know the difference. If you're looking just to cover your PPLs and get some ratings, then DTO is what you're looking for. However, if you're looking for the airlines and you're looking for CPL or ATPLs, then it's going to be an ATO that you're looking for. Related to this, so if you are looking for the airlines, then my second tip is important. Are you going to consider going modular or integrated? Decide early if you want flexibility and different step-by-step training, or if you want a one-stop course all the way to the airlines. And we'll have future videos on this, whether modular or integrated might be best for you. Third is to ask the question of how long has that school been operating? Longevity, typically in the aviation industry, tends to mean more stability. Question 4 to ask is, how many students have they got? Big schools can be very busy. Small ones, sometimes a bit more personal. Tip number 5 is understand what the student to instructor ratio is. Too many students per instructor could mean really long waits and basically trouble getting any flying lessons in at all. 6th tip is consider the airfield type. Do you want a busy airfield, a quiet airfield? Do you want one that only has a grass strip or has grass on tarmac, or perhaps just tarmac? And also, do you want to learn to fly in controlled or uncontrolled airspace? Point number 7, which often is not super considered here in the UK, is the weather and the geography of the school that you're going to be learning at. Typically you're going to use a school that is closest, but some airfields may get more flyable days than others. So it is something to consider, because especially here in the UK, weather cancellations is one of the #1 reasons why your flying might take you so long. Tip number 8 is consider the school's operating hours. Are they open evenings and weekends, or just weekdays? Or perhaps they're closed on certain days like Mondays and Sundays. So again, depending on the flexibility and availability you have for flying, this is an important question to consider. Tip number 9, CAA or EASA. Most flight schools here in the UK, especially for just PPL, are going to be focused on CAA. But if you're looking to go to the airlines, you may need to consider both. So make sure your license matches your kind of goals, especially post-Brexit here in the UK. Tip number 10, consider what the school's post-license support is. Can you rent aircraft from them? Can you do air building once you've passed? What other kind of help will they help give you on your future pilot aspirations? Okay, section number 2 is all around instructors and the training. So your relationship with your instructor can make or break your training. So here's my tips on what to look for. First of all, instructor stability. Career instructions often provide more continuity, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. Instructor fit. Make sure you get to speak to the instructors. Do you feel comfortable, and do you kind of have a mutual pairing with them? Do you think they're going to be someone that you can work with and learn from? Another important question is, what if you don't get on with that instructor? Ask how easy it is to switch instructors and kind of how they handle that kind of thing. Another question is instructor turnover. Have they got a high churn? Because if you constantly have to kind of change training and stuff, it can disrupt your training. And kind of as hinted at earlier, some instructors are just there to build their hours and then they're gone on to something else. And while that's good for them, it might not help your training stability and you following a certain program. Trial lessons. Trial lessons are very important. Consider flying with multiple schools to find out what school has the right kind of instructors and feel that make you feel comfortable. Every hour that you do as a trial lesson still counts into your logbook, so it's not a complete waste of time. Tip number 6 in this section, ground school tuition. Do they teach you ground school? Do they have different things and programs, or perhaps weekends or certain criteria that help you learn? Or do they just hand you a book and let you get on with it yourself? I'll have a video in the future on whether you need ground school or if there's other more modern alternatives that you can consider. Tip number 7 here is exam approach. Do they guide you through the exams in a sensible order? Or again, are they just leaving you to it and then just telling you, hey, you need to have this exam done by then and just hope you magic it up? Point number 9, lesson length. Some schools kind of do short hops, others do longer sessions. So understand kind of how long is each lesson going to be and what you're hoping to get out of it. Also consider the lesson structure. How much time is spent for briefing, how much spent is flying, and how much time is spent debriefing. Because again, it's your time, it's your money, and you've got to probably try and factor this around work and home life as well. And then finally in this section, tip number 10, teaching style. Do they follow a really strict syllabus, or are they somewhat flexible based on your pace, your progression, and the weather at hand? So let's say, for example, perhaps you were hopefully going to do a land away, but the weather's not suitable for it. So perhaps you can do some other kind of cross-country preparation, navigation prep, or some circuits. But again, remember, it's your money and your learning, so you don't want to be burning money doing circuits when you've pretty much got your landings honed in. So on to section 3, costs, admin and safety. Flying is expensive, but you should always know where you are, what you're paying for, and when you are going to be paying for it. So tip number 1 in this section is cost transparency. Get a full breakdown before you commit to that school. Tip number 2, ask and find out about hidden costs. Does the costs they're giving you include landing fees, touches and goes, fuel charges? Is VAT even included? How are they covering all these things so you can make really informed purchasing decisions here? Tip number 3, also ask about any membership or enrolment fees. That's another form of hidden costs. Many schools will have an annual or joining charge, and again, depending how long your training takes, this can add up. Tip number 4, which is a really important one, especially here in the UK, what is the cancellation policy? Do they charge for weather, illness or work commitments? Or do you feel kind of obliged and kind of pushing yourself to make sure you don't cancel because you don't want to lose out on money? Tip number 5, billing practices. Is it blocks to blocks or from when you walk in the door? It's an important thing to, again, help you manage and understand what the likely costs are going to be. Tip number 6, and it's pretty well known on most of the forums these days, never pay full up front. Sadly, schools do go bust, so pay as you go or in very small blocks is the best way to go. So if unfortunately that school does go out of business, they haven't taken all of your hard-earned flight training money with them. Tip number 7, consider the safety record. Ask openly about incidents, both on the ground and in the air, to again give you some reassurance about what their training is like and how successful have their students been. Tip number 8 is check out their aircraft fleet condition. Understand about how well they're maintained. Are they modern training aircraft? Or are they kind of tired old warriors? And even ask if you can have a little look around and see kind of the condition for yourself so you can make a more informed opinion. Also, tip number 9, consider the aircraft types. Are they only flying Cessnas, Pipers, Diamonds? And does it suit your needs and preferences? Personally for me, when I originally decided to become a pilot, I wanted to fly Piper Warriors because I thought they looked like a proper plane. End up flying Cessnas and I've got no regrets so far. Tip number 10, do you actually fit in the aircraft you want to be flying? So your weight, your height and different limits will matter, and some aircraft just won't work for you. Like for myself, with my own weight and instructor weight, a 152 just wasn't going to cut it. So I had to pay a little bit extra to learn to fly in a Cessna 172. And the final tip in this section, tip number 11 here, the number of aircraft available. If the school only has 1 or 2 planes, there's going to be lots of training delays, especially when they go in for tech and their annual maintenance. Finally, section number 4, culture, facilities and beyond. A flight school isn't just about ticking off hours. The culture and facilities will shape the whole experience. So tip number 1 in this section, culture. Is it a flying club with social events, or is it just strictly a training business? Now, one or the other might work best for you, but it's best to understand the culture of the school before you start investing time and money with them. Tip number 2 here, the facilities. Have they got classrooms and briefing rooms? If you're really lucky, they might even have a simulator that's going to be fit for your learning purposes. Again, Nothing wrong with a little shed and shack out the back, but again, make sure you understand what facilities are going to be available to you, and this can also link back to things like ground school and things like that. Tip number 3, if they do have simulators, do they have FNPT, or are they basic sims just for practice if the weather's poor? Tip number 4, ground time value. Are briefings and debriefings meaningful, or are they just rushed because they've got back-to-back students and they can't spend the valuable time with you giving you the right debriefs to ensure that your tuition is successful and help you progress effectively as a pilot? Tip number 5, student feedback. There's no better feedback than that from other students. So where possible, try to speak to current students, check forums or even our own Discord channel to find out if the school you're interested in has already had some of the Left Seat Culture members go to those schools, and they can give you kind of some first-hand feedback. Tip number 6 in this section is partnerships and networking. Some schools will have better airline links, flying groups, or other career pathways that you can utilise. So another important thing to consider depending on what your pilot future is. Tip number 7, student outcomes. Where do their graduates go? So especially if you're looking to join the airlines, does the school have a good history of working with certain airlines to give you that extra boost to fulfill your pilot career dreams? Tip number 8, ask about the pass rate. Do most students pass first time? And also an important question, do they have an in-house examiner? If they do have an in-house examiner, you can have lessons with them, but that mustn't increase, or that mustn't go over 10 hours. So again, another thing for you to consider and bear in mind, because if your instructor is the in-house examiner, he won't be able to examine you. Question number 9, or tip number 9 in this section, what are the average hours to test? Is it somewhat close to the 40-45, or people dragged all the way up to 70 hours plus, just basically treating you like a cash cow? Obviously, in some cases, you will need 70, 80, 100 hours, depending on your skill and how proficient you are at picking things up. But again, just make sure that the school's not just regularly dragging things out to maximise the money they can make from students. Tip number 10, trial lesson follow-up. Do they let you explore or pressure you to sign up once you've had that trial lesson? A really decent school should give you time, give you knowledge, and let you, and perhaps even encourage you to have trial lessons elsewhere so you can make the best choice for your needs. Tip number 11 is related to medical support. Do they help and guide you through the Class 1 or Class 2 medical processes and advise and help you understand what you do or do not need to be able to fly? Tip number 12 is flexibility for life interruptions, kind of back to cancellations. But what if you need to pause training? What happens if you run out of money, or you have a family issue, which means you need to put training on hold for kind of 3, 6 or even longer amount of months? How flexible are they, allowing you to come back and pick up where you left off? Tip number 13, kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but what are the big red flags? As you're going through, are you finding out that there are hidden fees? When you inspect the aircraft, did they actually look poorly maintained? When you speak to people, is aircraft availability poor? And are they kind of pushy for sign now type of tactics? Again, these are all red flags for you to consider. And finally, tip 14 in this section, and my 45th tip in this video, is remember, you are the customer. It's your money, it's your training. It's important that you stay in control. This is often easier said than done, because as you go through learning, it can be a bit disheartening and you feel your own kind of pressure, and obviously the school is hopefully working in your best interest. But remember, you are the customer. If you think there's not enough benefit for you spending another hour in circuits because you've already done 50, tell your instructor that and kind of say, hey, it's probably best not to fly if we can't do the cross country. We'll try again next week. So that's it, my top 45 tips for choosing the right flight school in the UK. If a school ticks most of these boxes, you're probably in safe hands. If not, keep looking, the right one is out there. Have you already chosen your flight school, or are you still trying to decide? And why don't you come and share your experiences either in the comments, because I'd love to hear from them. If you found this video useful, also consider giving it a like and subscribe. Left Seat Culture is the place to get more general aviation insights and flying tips. And if you want to keep this conversation going, please join our Discord channel. The link is down in the description. Clear skies, and I'll see you all in the circuit.